dear beautiful ones, to the Delphic in continuation. We are now actively engaged in these living arts, breathing them in. And we would notice when the human life is experienced through place and time that we are inevitably deeply entrenched in art and the beautiful. But before even the art comes the notion of the fundamental human needs: hunger, thirst, shelter, clothing. Now we find the art of draping with Zoie Lafis of the Center for Hellenic Studies at Harvard. A great privilege that she shares with us her deep intuition and artistry and instinct for the weaving of life through cloth. For she and her work are things of beauty, which are joys forever. Their loveliness shall increase in her shedding it upon you. It will never pass into nothingness, but still will keep a bower quiet for us, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. To this need, let us give the raiment and artistry of garment. We welcome dear Zoie.
Thank you so much, dear Jean, dear everyone, for being here. I'm just so happy to be here with you. And Edouard, thank you so much for starting the day. I just so much enjoyed the past hour. It was just the perfect way to start moving, and just marvelous. So thank you so much. And I'm just so honored to be here and see some of us who were in Delphi together a month ago, and some of us we were thinking about you from a distance. So thank you for being here today. I just wanted to connect a few thoughts as we start thinking about a garment and investments. I'm going to share the screen for a few moments just to kind of share a few of my notes. So just give me one moment and I start. I will be talking about draping and fabrics, as Jean mentioned. And I just wanted to start about my points of inspiration as I'm thinking about garments. So just give me one sec. Oh, there, I'm starting to share now. Okay. So I'd just like to start to talk a little bit about Delphi and what thoughts come to my mind. As we all know, Delphi is an ancient Greek city in the south slopes of Mount Parnassus. And the first concepts that come to mind as I think of Delphi is that of womb and navel. The word Delphi and the name Delphi has its origins from the word Delphos, which means hollow or womb. And it is associated with Gaia, the personification of Earth, who is thought of as, just kind of the Earth, and that is, Delphi is the abode of it. And so when we think of Delphi, we think of womb of the Earth. And our myth starts a bit with the arrival of Apollo in Delphi, and that is very much connected with a kind of primordial entity that lived there, a serpent, whose name, or one of its names, is Delphine. That is also part of that, it's a main child of Gaia, and who is known as Pytho. And of course, the serpent lived in that land and was slain by Apollo, who then, after slaying the serpent, established there in Delphi his place of worship. So now Delphi is also known as the navel of the earth. And that name and that side of Delphi is based a bit on the spot that, because it was the spot that was located by god Zeus, who marked it with a stone that was called omphalos. It's a sacred stone. And he set that stone in Delphi after locating it. And there's a whole myth about that. And in the spot of that stone, he also set it as the site of the oracle of Delphi. So when Apollo arrived in Delphi, we know that he killed the serpent Delphine and established there his cult of Delphi. And he also became the steward of the oracle of Delphi. So in that way, he connected with Delphi as kind of dealing with the womb of it as womb of the earth, and also as the omphalos, as also as the navel of the earth. And from there start all the beautiful things that happen that come in Delphi. And just maybe one thing I wanted to share here is a small passage from the writing of a wonderful Greek poet, who is George Seferis. So he talks about, in this small essay from early 60s, that in the beginning was the wrath of the earth. Later, Apollo came and killed the chthonic serpent Python. It was left to rot. And it says that this is where the first name Delphi, Pytho, came from. Pith, which means I rot. And in such a fertilizer, the power of the god of harmony, of light, and of divination took root and grew. And this is the era where we are from, this after, we're kind of basing a lot of my influences from this myth. So we're linking with womb, navel, and the navel. And Delphi has been the place for the cult of Apollo for many years. It has seen many visitors. It has seen and it has seen many honors, and we see that in a lot of art forms. And I just want to move right in from that to a bit to the idea of garment at this point. And here's just an example. We see here just in art. The Iniojos is one of the sculptures in the Archaeological Museum. Here we point to kind of the garment of Iniojos, and to the other side, we see a 20th century garment by Mariano Fortuny, who we all know so well. He was a contemporary of Isadora Duncan, or one of the admirers who actually designed this particular dress called the Delphos for Isadora. I'm just going to stay with that for a moment, and I'll shift a bit to. But do you have any questions, or is there anything you would like me to clarify so far? Just you can set that on the chat or raise a hand. Okay, so yes, so please write in the chat any questions and I'll be happy to clarify. I'm just going to move on to other points of inspiration. And so now I start touching a little bit on silk and garments and silk. As Jean mentioned, and I'm just very, very interested in the qualities of silk as a material and all its potential. I find that it is so versatile, and it is just limitless plasticity that silk has, through which we can express so much. I am fascinated that silk is sort of an organic matter. It comes from an insect. It comes from a small cocoon. It moves from there into threads, from threads to fabric, limitless qualities and weights of fabric, from like sheer spider webbing kind of fabric to like amazing brocades and very, very heavy weavings. And so I just am in awe of this organic material that comes from such a small life form. and it kind of informs us in so many ways. So in honor of just silk and where it comes from, cocoons, I just wanted to say I've made just at least a few cocoons that I brought with us today, just like my little, kind of silver, not silver, silk little cocoons. And these are all made of silk. And the way I shape these cocoons, basically they are shaped into little cords. And and they take a lot of shapes on that. I don't know how you can see it, but I guess I have to stop sharing now a little bit. Okay, so can you see me now? Okay, so maybe you're seeing me in a larger screen. So I have made a few cocoons here, and these are all made out of silk. And what I kind of would like to sort of reconstruct is just the beauty of silk and its plasticity. That in my hands I hold this little piece of a ball, and I can now just kind of unfold it, and I go through this. I don't know if you can see me, but I hope you can. And so from that little cocoon, now I have, and from that cord, I have just sort of like a little piece of woven fabric. And from that, we have, of course, a dress. This is not unknown to us. This is what we use, all of us. This is not unknown to any human being, but I just absolutely love the universality of it. So just gonna wear this, and okay. So, I just feel better already. I feel connected. And of course, all of us, I guess with no exception, I would say, or very few exception, we have all gone through these steps of getting ready for movement. And I feel that in this plastic form, we can kind of go through anything. I wish, Edward, I wish I would go through your exercises again right now, because now I feel ready. And as you know, with fabric, we not only, it actually, as we all know, it actually covers us and protects us, but it also reveals and expresses our form. And silk with its plasticity can do that. So I just wanted to just now prepare. Then this is kind of where I am at the moment. So I'm just going to continue a little bit with my PowerPoint now. So I'm going to share again. Okay, I think we're back on that screen. And other points of inspiration about fabric, we know very well, just repeating how much findings around Delphi and around the region surrounding Delphi, the region of Boeotia and Tanagra, have inspired us in the 20th and 21st century. And it is findings like these very small clay figurines that appeared in France after archaeological excavations that gave insights to the broader world of this era and life in Delphi and the area. And here we have these wonderful female figures all wrapped in these amazing weavings that are kind of express their style, the sense of form, style, human life, and just a lot of beauty. And there is so much to be learned from that. And as we know, Isadora studied them, and we have wonderful exercises from that. Here, just as an example, back to Mariano Fortuny, who had done the Delphos dress and created it, based on these influences, also created this, the scarf, the Delphos scarf, and this is an example of that. 20th century, and here I think this is again, I believe it's a Hellenistic or Roman era figurine. This one of the muse Polymnia, the muse who sings to the divine, to the deities. Again, with layers of amazing weavings that to me are kind of just very similar in that aesthetic. And here, just back to a little bit to the dress and the Delphos that Mariano Fortuny had created. I think these are sort of examples of more like modern creations of that, and these are shirts and smaller pieces. But there is this idea of silk in this pleated form, and just this amazing other sculpture shapes that it can take that are just mere everyday foldings, but just glorious and very beautiful. So now I'm just all wrapped up with my little PowerPoint presentation. I return, and now I'm going to try to see you a little bit in a larger screen if I can. All right. So the idea of weaving, I don't know, I cannot see many of you, but for me, I just continue to just work a little bit through what we can have and in wrappings, and just how much fun one can have with silk and what we can do. So I'm going to unfold one more of my, I call my little knots. I also call them, I do also call them as cords. And in some ways, I also feel there are certain other metaphors one can make with this, about these cords. They are, and there is, I just need to make this small parenthesis. I also link them a little bit in some sculptural work with the concepts of womb and navel, and what is the matter that we see in them. They kind of remind me a little bit of umbilical cords and a little bit of this connection between mother and creation, Mother Earth and creation. And sometimes I think of these cords as really that connection between what is a generation of earth with the generation of omphalos, and then generation of what happens after the cult of Apollo kind of comes into play, and Apollos gives shape from the rot of the earth and unshapedness of the primordial and the chaotic. He brings civilization and creation and forms and beauty and a lot more progression. So anyways, I just see those mediums again as little cords connecting between chaos and form. So this is a little bit now chaotic, kind of a little bit of a sack. I just unpacked it after, you know, you've all lived through at least a couple of times, just to be able to bring a little bit of here, just a little bit of folds in it. Fortuny was able to make these folds beautifully even and keep them permanent. We just need to kind of keep doing them and making them a little bit, you know, just there's this ephemeral in what I experience, but I don't mind the ephemeral part of that at all. I just enjoy this beautiful thing about unwrapping it and then sort of seeing how we can do it. And so there, thank you. So good. So this is kind of a very big sack. There is no shape to it really, but then it is us who can give it shape, right? And So I think that we tend to give shapes in antiquity, like we can give them shape a little bit with tyings. Okay. Posso ver até? Okay. And of course, okay. Judith, what do you think? Okay. So we can play with forms. Of course, this is kind of after a lower layer, but we can give it kind of different layers and such. Okay. Back to a little bit, let's see. The way that we, okay. So I'm going to leave that concept for a bit. All right. Now I go not with a wrap thing, but just like a larger piece of fabric. So this is a little bit of a, this is a piece that came from Brazil, kind of like the idea of where silks come from. So, and again, the idea of how we can kind of give it a little bit of shape. I want to see a little bit, let me see. Judith, you're there. Okay. And thank you, Jean and Rosie, for playing with that as well. So with this fabric, I was just trying not to give it many cuts. I feel like what I'd like to kind of allude to is, I mean, back to, so I want to just see how I can layer this one with what I'm wearing already. So just like the idea of starting with one shoulder. And let's see, there's different ways of starting with this, of course. We can have like sort of a flat drop, or maybe this sort of angular drop, right? I'm not sure what the term is, but with the angular drop, all of us know that we get some beautiful, beautiful drapes like that. And so I don't know what you can see, but let's see. So, okay. So just bring, okay, let's see. So doing this. And I already have sort of at least a little bit of that. Okay. And then I don't know, if I was a person from Tanagra, I probably would have wanted to do something with my head. You know. Okay. Or something. But the idea is of just defining form as we see best and according to our mood. And of course, in many, many traditions, there are all kinds of sarongs and all kinds of wrappings that we can find. And so it truly is a mode of expression, I feel, but it's just about loving the quality of fabric and drapings that and what it can offer, and just allowing to see it as a sculptural medium that it is, that also is the form of self-expression. Okay. Okay. So, okay. Let me see. I think I need to see a little bit of where you are. Oh, dearest Jean, that looks beautiful. And Rosie, yes. Thank you, thank you. And these are all variations of wonderful forms I've seen before, and in movement, one can see them. That's one example. Let's see. Just wanted to see if I can see any other examples, anything else. Okay. Now, so that was kind of just a wrapping of that. Perhaps I wanted to kind of give a few words about a peplum. I don't have an example of a peplum before, and so let's see. Do you have any? Let me see if there are any comments or any questions here where I can just we can have a little bit of a conversation. Oh, let's see, chat. Okay. All right. So just giving you kind of examples of just how to wear, like kind of use something that is very raw, but finding kind of the plasticity of the fabric and what it's capable of. I mean, the possibilities are limitless. I think the key here is to work with our bodies as a model, but also with, you know, another form as a model. It always helps if we were in a studio and we kind of, or we work together, and we can have a lot of fun sharing fabrics and or sharing ways in which wrappings can be made. So I like this idea of just very simple cuts and constructions, and then working with tyings a little bit more. And I can see how Rosie is building amazing levels there, and just beautiful examples of Tanagra pieces and such. Let's see, I wanted to just take a few words here, and let's see, we have a little bit of time, and just talk about the peplum as one other form that I like very much, that is very versatile. But how do we do this? Let me just do this here. So the idea is that a peplum is kind of a garment that is very well known, because we see that in a lot of iconography, a lot of kind of Athenian iconography, and of course the idea here is that these are like two pieces of rectangle, and they kind of look like this a little bit, and they come with, basically you take two pieces of rectangle, and then there's a front and a back, and each one of them has a little bit of a fold like this, right? And we've all seen it, and and quite a few of us may have worn those peplum, and they're just wonderful. And again, with those, they have two tie-ins in the top here. They're normally they are sort of a piece of jewelry, and let's say, so there's a piece of jewelry that holds them on the shoulder, and then you have the tie-ins here just under the chest and the breasts, and then perhaps here in the hips as well. And again, this is kind of a classic, gives us a classical form that you cannot go wrong, and it fits any physique in the world, I feel can look good in them. So, okay, so this is a bit what we have, what I had for you. Let's see, I don't know if we have any time. We have a few minutes for just where I can answer something or help build something. I keep seeing Rosie, this is beautiful, the red on that. So yes. Thank you, Rosie. Sorry. Yes. Okay, yes. I see. So yes, maybe I can pin the peplum a little bit and just to see it. Yes. So my mom can actually okay. So my mom will help me do that. Okay. So if you give me a moment, then we'll make the first cuttings of a peplum, okay? And that will be just a few minutes, and my mom will help me do that. So. Be right back. Okay. So I got scissors. So I need to count the tools I use sometimes. Okay, so what we've done, I get to initiate my Brazilian silk. I'm very happy. Okay, so my mom is helping me. And where am I? Am I on the screen? I guess I am. So let's show. Okay. Right. Okay, so now I have 2 squares. And I'm going to pin. I'm going to do that, and my mom will do the back. Para pin. Okay. Okay. And, oh yeah. Okay, olha. Sorry, I'm talking with my mom. We're negotiating the right thing. Olha. Okay. Okay, então guys, que lado. Okay, so basically that's the construction. We know it. Okay. There can always be a few strategic times. And I want to say, and so. Okay. That's a lot of experiments. Okay. All right. I think this is pretty much it. There's a lot of the idea of folding, but one can do a lot of variations with these foldings. If I had a mirror, I could spend an hour. But this is the idea a bit. And of course, there can be a few more. I don't know that this has the length for a hip exactly piece. I don't think that it has a length, but you get the idea a little bit on these lines. Here, I think you can see it, but I would just leave it with one at the moment. And I think this is just a little bit the idea of it, and one can play with it a lot more and make it her own, or her own peplum. So, okay. So that's where we are. I'd like to thank you very, very much for just playing with me and playing with fabrics. And again, just want to say how much I enjoyed the visit to Delphi this year, and how all of us who were there, we had a lot of fun, but we were also thinking of all of you who were at your home base and who shared these wonderful ideas and thoughts with us. And I hope we continue to enjoy and create together as the months evolve. And thank you so much, Jean and Rosie, for bringing us together today. So.
Oh, thank you, dear Zoe. And what could be more meaningful and beautiful than you with your wonderful mother, of whom we think and about whom we send toward with forever our gratitude for your splendid wonder of a daughter who shares with us her creativity as it stems from you in the spirit of weaving woman from generation to generation. Nothing could be more important for us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And one thought from beautiful Sappho, because you certainly brought Erato, the muse, to us today. You brought her in full glory. So perhaps from Sappho we might say, as for me and all of us, listen well. Our delight is the exquisite. Yes, for us, sparkle and sunlight and moonlight and love are one society. Thank you for bringing that society to be richer and fuller, and invite us all in, mother and daughter. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.